No PPP for me. Hi, I'm John McNeil, and this is the Invest Strong Network. Welcome. Last year, I had some very well meaning friends suggest that I apply for the PPP loans. Now, for those of you who may not be aware, the PPP is the program first launched by the Trump administration and the Dems in Congress that basically provided free, easy loans to small and medium sized business owners to help them make it through the teeth of the CV-19 pandemic. Now, as Invest Strong viewers know, I operate a small bed and breakfast here in Houston, and I was certainly negatively affected by the CV-19 pandemic. I lost all of my international guests. I lost most of my interstate guests. And the guests that I did retain, I had to extend stays for to long-term stays, and also do quite a bit of discounting and other things in order to keep bodies in the rooms and some semblance of revenue coming in. So I definitely qualified for a PPP loan, but I elected not to take it. Let me tell you why. Well, first of all, I feel just on a personal level that I didn't need to take it because although I did have to do quite a bit of discounting and extending and other things, I still had my head above water, right? And I was still doing okay, all things considered. And so I personally felt as if I just didn't need to take the money. But beyond that, there is this governments, we have this tendency of thinking about our governments, be it state government or the federal government especially, as some kind of Santa Claus. You know, they're here to bestow gifts upon us, and we certainly thank you for these free gifts, right? However, what many persons may not know, and I think they may be pleasantly surprised to find out, is that our government can go from Santa Claus to Scrooge pretty quickly. And when that happens, you do not want to be in their crosshairs, right? All right, let me give you a personal example. So, a few years ago, I had to have major surgery, right? And so I was under a healthcare plan provided by my employer. Okay, so had the surgery, everything was great. And when I returned to work, I was on a light duty. Now, my job, as most employers have, there's a certain hour minimum requirement in order to qualify for benefits. Well, because I was on this light duty, I fell below that hour minimum. And so I was dropped from the employer provided healthcare plan. However, there was the Obamacare plan, government run, out there to where I could get on that plan, right? Okay, well, obviously not an ideal situation, but I felt as if, as a fallback position, it's better that than not having medical coverage at all, right? So I applied for a Medicare plan, government plan, Obamacare plan here in Texas, one of the bronze plans, and I got on their rolls. Now, the plan itself was not great at all. I mean, it had very high deductibles. It had very substantial co-pays. It was just not great, to be honest with you. But at least I had health insurance, right? For the several months that it took for me to get back to full strength. Okay, so eventually I get to the point to where I can return to the full-time realm at my job, and I do that. And I then requalified for health benefits and got back on the plan, the employer provided plan. Right? Okay. Whew, close call, but it's over. No, not at all. You see, a few months later, the government provided plan sent me a letter saying that while I was under their coverage, right, um, they had to pay a certain amount of subsidy to the actual private uh, healthcare plan provider that I was a part of, right? Under their plan. So they wanted that subsidy back, right? And now that I'm working full time and I'm under another plan, I should have no problem paying them, reimbursing them for the subsidies that they paid for me to have health care coverage for the, I think, 10 months or so that I was under the Obamacare plan. Now, this kind of caught me by surprise, right? Because as a taxpayer, I thought, you know, I had kind of already paid for the Obamacare plan, right? But, no problem. Went through this rather complex alchemy of accounting, and we came out with a number that was the amount of subsidy that they paid for me, and I paid them back for that. It was less than $200, not the end of the world, whatever. Here's the point. These governments can become really quite capricious depending upon who's in the White House and who's in Congress, right? So for all these people who took this PPP money thinking that they may never have to pay it back, or they may never have to pay interest, or both, they may be in for a rude awakening as the economy recovers, right? Now, let me tell you this personally. I do not blame anyone for applying for and accepting PPP money, right? I mean, if you were adversely affected by the CV-19 pandemic, and this was your only way to keep your business afloat and keep your employees on the rolls, that's what the program was there for. So I don't knock you for accepting the money, but just keep in mind, depending upon, again, who's in the White House and who's running the Congress, their level of benevolency is in flux, right? So you may feel as if you don't have to pay it back, but some point in the future, Uncle Sam may be tapping on your shoulder and say, look here, Mr. and Mrs. Small Business Entrepreneur, you owe us X thousands of dollars, right? And that may trigger lots of legal wrangling and other things that you were not expecting. And if you have a business to run, you really don't have time to be fooling around with all of this stuff, in the midst of trying to operate your enterprise. And it may, in the long run, not have been worth it, right? Not trying to scare anyone. I'm just saying, that's something to look out for. And that is why I didn't take the PPP loans, right? And so, just wanted to relay that. Keep that in mind as you go forward. Keep all records, and that's a key thing. Any records you had from 2020 and 2021, hold on to those records, because at some point in the future, you may have to resurrect them and prove your case in court, right? If the government all of a sudden starts demanding you pay them back. All right. So those are my thoughts for this week. If you found this information informative, enlightening, smash that thumbs up button. Do it for me. I love you. Love you. Thank you. Smash it. Also, leave a comment. Let me know if you have if you applied for a PPP loan, if you received PPP money, and what it did for you, and what your thoughts are on the entire program. I'd love to know. And of course, subscribe. Please subscribe to Invest Strong. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much, and good blessings.